Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be listening to the fourth part of What If Deku Became a Cyborg. Massive thanks to the author, Master Mage 965, for letting me make this audiobook. If you enjoy, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing down below, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified when videos go live. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Chapter 19, 1v1, Ground Zero. I hold my right wrist as I listen to present mic. Alright everyone, we're all set up for the final match of the tournament. Are you all ready? I close my fist, yes. The crowd cheers loudly in anticipation. Present mic continues, great, let's get this show on the road. On one end we have Dash. I start walking out as I stare ahead of me, almost glaring, I'm winning this. I also see Kaken doing the same with his hands in his pockets. Present mic corrects what he was about to say. Whoa, look at those faces, they're so pumped up they didn't let me finish. I guess there's no point in calling them out, huh? Uncle Zawa replies, doubt it, everyone already knows who they are. Present mic continues, yes, from what I've heard, they've been waiting for this for a long time. Childhood friends turn rivals in an instant. Let's see how this turns out. 3. I bend my knees and pivot a bit to have my right arm behind me and my left in front, while Kaken takes his hands out of his pockets. 2. Kaken pulls his arms back while I lean forward. 1. I warm up my thrusters as Kaken spark up small explosions. I smirk as he glares. Begin. I form a shield as my back, calf, and sole thrusters burn orange, sending me forward as I yell, Kaken. He blasts forward with haste as he yells, freak show. I take my shield and put it to my left arm as he reels his right hand back, readying a blast. I raise my shield in response, but he blasts around it and over me, just as I thought. I burn my arm blue and twirl in the air, clipping his chin with my shield before landing a punch straight to his gut. As soon as he recoils off my fist, I burn my solace blue and deactivate the thrusters in my arm, sending me back. I then deactivate all my thrusters as I watch him just over my shield. He gets up and glares at me. I smirk and say, I guess, I get first blood. He growls and yells, shut up. He blasts forward towards me while my back, calf, and sole thruster burn orange, sending me forward in his direction, lowering my shield in the process. He throws a right punch while I do the same, with sparks flying from the gaps in my arm. We hit each other's faces at the same time and stumble back while my thrusters turn off. He then glares at me before blasting into the air. I yell at him, don't run, and fly off after him with burn orange in my all but my arm. He then blasts downward with an axe kick. I act quickly and block it with my shield as I set my arm to burn orange and reach for his leg. He blasts behind me, so I reposition my spines in my arm to twirl and backfist the side of his head. He reels back before righting himself and glares at me, you'll regret that. I smirk, doubt it? He lets out a war cry before making an explosion, causing smoke to envelope the two of us. I cough some out and say, you know, cough that doesn't work on me. I spot the sector behind me glow brighter, so I twirl around and hold up my shield, blocking a kick from Kaken. I smirk, I told you. He growls and throws a hand to my head. I act and pull my shield a little higher, setting him off balance and blasting my shield. I then charge for him and bash my shield into his chest, sending him to the ground. I throw my right hand forward and send my grapple at him. He tilts his head out of the way. Ha, you missed. I smirk, you sure? I recall it and grab his head. His eyes go wide. Huh. I fly down and speed up my leg with my thrusters and knee his face. In his daze I fly past him, extending my grapple again. Time for a ride. Kaken yells, let go of me, and releases explosions to spin himself, which send me spiraling around. I let him go and get slammed to the ground. I slowly get up and shake my head. Ugh, ow. I look up and see him still spinning, faster and faster, smoke spiraling around him like a tube. What the hell? I hear him yell, howitzer. I grit my teeth as I slam my arms together into two parallel horizontal lines. Here we go. He blasts out of the smoke, spinning at high speed. Impact. Act. Kaken then releases a large-scale explosion, that I can only guess matches or even succeeds the blast he launched fighting Eureka. I feel myself get pushed back, so I burn white as soon as possible and try to dig in my feet to the ground, tearing apart as I get pushed through it. Eventually, the force ends, and I stop moving. I slack my arms to my sides for a small break as I look at the ground, trying to find the arena border, but the smoke's so intense that I can't find it. I kneel and feel the ground, feeling rock, so I'm still on the arena, but am I still within the border? I then hear present Mike, amazing, he spun himself for acceleration and blasted Midoriya with everything he had, he turned himself into a human missile. A small silence from him before he says, but what happened to Midoriya? Is he still standing, is he down? The suspense is killing me. The smoke clears up a little and I see the border, behind me, thank God. I look forward and try to pinpoint where Kikin is. Then I hear him speak, there's no way that freak withstood that attack, just call it, I won. I smirk as I equip my shield to my arm and shift it back into my arm as it changes, causing it to charge up enough for the job. I then hear Midnight a little to my left, not without proof Bakugo, we need to see him out of bounds or unconscious. I raise it up and aim ahead of me, then hear him yell, what's the point in waiting? I move it to the right a bit, hearing him go off again, if he was still standing then he would have done something. Then move it ever so slightly left. I smirk, okay. The end of my arm glows a bright blue as I yell, kinetic cannon. And fire, the blowback cracking the ground under me with wind and smoke rushing past me. I then hear an explosion with the sound of sparks flying, with a slam against a concrete wall with the side of Kikin letting out a pained cough, gah. The smoke finally subsides, revealing me to the audience with my right arm out with what can only be described as an arm cannon instead of a hand, the barrel opening having a dim blue glow with barely noticeable smoke leaving it. I finally take some breaths, panting, as I say, I win. The audience cheers on the verge of screams as Midnight announces the winner, Katsuki Bakugo is eliminated. She cracks her whip towards me, Izuku Midoriya wins the tournament. I hear Mina yell out, yes. I smile as I give her a thumbs up, she smiles even wider and cups her hand around her mouth and yells, you were amazing. I nod as I change my arm back to normal and walk towards the border of the arena and look down at Kikin, who's still on the ground not looking up to me. He speaks in a low voice so only the two of us hear him over the cheering crowd, how? I raise an eyebrow and he asks, how did you beat me? I sigh and say, I won because I gave it everything I had and kept my focus throughout the whole fight, you on the other hand looked down on me, let your guard down, and didn't try your hardest. He looks up at me in anger, I gave it all I dash. I then give him a tired expression and deadpan, just like I thought you would. He shuts up and stares at me with wide eyes, what? I turn around and walk away, throwing my shield at the ground before its release sends it back to me, with not another yell, scream, angry comment, or anything from Kikin, nothing. I'm walking through the halls as I put away my shield, that was exhausting. I don't know how he can keep that up for so long, it's impressive really, I just wish he would dash. I then see Mina running to me yelling, Izuku, and tackle me with a hug. My back slams into the ground, ack. Mina. What was that for? Mina loosens her grip, sorry. She lets me go and helps me get up, just as Xiaoji arrives. Mina continues, I just got worried after Bakugo got that last attack, I thought you got really hurt. Xiaoji nods, yeah, an explosion that size finished off Eureka, and she wasn't point blank like you were. I look down, they aren't wrong, Kikin sent that attack up and Eureka was just sent flying from the force alone, I took it head on, and he made it stronger by throwing himself like a missile, as Resent Mike put it. I smile and look back at the, spreading my arms out, well, look at me. They look me over for a little bit before I say, how hurt do I look? Mina shrugs as Xiaoji says, you don't look that bad, maybe a checkup at Recover Girls just to be safe, but you look fine. I nod, see? I'm fine. Sure, I got thrown into the ground and got hit point blank by a large-scale explosion, but I made it out pretty much unscathed. I know how to take a beating, I was trained by Uncle Zawa personally for 12 years remember. Xiaoji nods as Mina winces, I can't imagine what that was like. I shrug, I got used to it. Xiaoji then points at my right arm, by the way, what was that? I look at my arm as he continues, I've never seen you use that ability before, it was completely new. I smirk, it was something I got as I trained for the festival, I was planning on saving it for the end, so I could surprise my opponent with it and secure a victory, guess it worked. Mina smiles, I'll say, you sent him flying, As soon as it hit him, a rush of wind went everywhere and sent him into the wall. It was awesome. Xiaoji nods. It was definitely nice to see Bakugo of all people be defeated from an explosion. I laugh. I guess, I do see the irony on that. Mina then hugs my prosthetic arm. You gotta tell us how it happened, where it came from, what it felt like, everything. I chuckle. Okay, I will, just calm down, okay. She smiles and stays quiet, but still hugging my arm. I sigh and start telling them my training. So I was in a forest nearby as I punched a boulder. I was getting frustrated with what happened at the USJ, so I started punching harder when dash. Time skip. I stood atop a pedestal underneath the stage as we waited for the award ceremony to begin. I look over to my left and see Tokoyami standing in the third place pedestal. He looks back to me just as I frown a bit. He closes his eyes and looks away. I sigh. Flashback. Aitsa looks down as he says, I'm sorry, but I must go see my brother, he's been attacked. My eyes go wide as Mina says, what? Ingenium's hurt, how is he? Aitsa replies, I don't know, I was just told he was hurt bad and that I should come see him. I nod, okay, well. I put my left hand out. I wish you good luck, Ingenium too. He takes my hand, and we shake. He nods, thank you. I nod back, just take care of him. End flashback. I hear Midnight start speaking to everyone. Hello everyone, congratulations for everyone who tried their best in the tournament. But I think we all know who we really want to focus on, the top 3 winners. The ground above us opens and we are risen through it as mist is released for dramatic effect. I smile before the gas subsides. The pedestals are repositioned, so we are all on different heights, Tokoyami at the lowest with me at the highest. Midnight continues, Tinya Aitsa actually chars the 3rd place position with Tokoyami, but had to leave due to family reasons. Gotta love those familial bonds. And winks to the cameras. Tokoyami looks at her in surprise, the media darling. Midnight smiles, now, I won't be distributing the awards, we got someone better. We all start hearing from somewhere, so we all look over, except Kiken, and see All Might standing on top of the stadium, smiling. I then watch Kiken as he just stares at his feet. I frown. Kiken. All Might jumps from the stadium and somersaults. I am here to distribute the awards. As Midnight speaks over him saying, All Might is here, give a round of applause. All Might lands and stays crouched as everyone goes silent. All Might looks back as Midnight claps her hands politely and says, I ruined that, didn't I? I sigh, of course. Midnight takes out the medals and hands them to All Might. Anyway, here are the awards, All Might. All Might takes them. Thank you, Ms. Midnight. He then walks up to Tokoyami and hands his medal. Young Tokoyami, you did quite well throughout the tournament, I'm proud of you. He then gives him a hug and gives him some advice that I couldn't hear. They break the hug as Tokoyami says, I will, sir. He bows, thank you, sir. All Might nods and walks over to Kiken. Young Bakugo, you were outstanding. He opens his arms out, and you may have not won the tournament, but there's always round 2. All Might then hugs Kiken and gives him some advice, all the while Kiken stays silent. All Might breaks the hug and he walks up to me. Young Midoriya, you were fantastic, truly incredible, you climbed up to the top without stopping, and made sure to give some small pieces of advice to those you passed. He looks back at Todoroki, you are a true hero, that I can attest to. I bow, thank you, sir, that means a lot coming from you. He laughs, thank you, young man. He gives me my medal then hugs me. You may have won this fight, but there will be more to come, you mustn't stop, lest you fall behind your peers. I hug back, I won't, not for anything. He breaks the hug and announces to the crowd, these are the winners of this year's sports festival. Now for one last saying to end this off, now I want everyone to say it with me. Everyone throws a fist into the air, except Kiken, plus Ultra. While All Might says, good work everyone. I hold in a laugh as everyone goes quiet. The crowd then starts booing All Might. What? That was the perfect time to say, plus Ultra All Might. He then tries to support himself. I know, but everyone did such a good job. I sigh as I shake my head, smiling, oh, All Might. After all was said and done, we were all sent home and told rest for 2 days. I held onto my medal as I looked at it. This was the best sports festival yet. Chapter 20, Dr. Garen. I hear my alarm go off and I open my eyes. Ugh, Why did I set an alarm this early? I lean over and turn it off. I sigh and grab my case holding prosthetics and open it. Here's to another day. I put on my prosthetics and take off my rubber casing over my spine and put it away. I then get out of bed and change into some clothes for the day. Okay, you are not going to train during these 2 days of no school, no training. You won the sport festival, for crying out loud. That's worthy of rest for 2 days, right? Mom then asks through the door to my room, Izuki, are you awake? I reply as I look into the mirror, yeah, I'm up. Mom adds, good, because you have an appointment with Dr. Garin today. My eyes widen as I look at the door and say, wait, what? She answers, she called me yesterday saying they booked you an appointment for today regarding your arm cannon thing. I look at the ground in thought. I didn't talk with her, did I? I then reply, oh okay, thanks mom. She walks away while I grab my glove and eye patch. I really hope she's not mad at me. Why would she make an appointment without telling me? I walk out of my room and head to the kitchen. Hey mom, what's for breakfast? She smiles and answers, eggs, apples, sausages, and pancakes. I smile, all right. We sit down and eat breakfast. Then mom asks, I didn't get to ask yesterday because you were so tired yesterday from the festival, but, how does it feel to know that you're the best first year in all of UA? She asks with a big smile on her face. I chuckle, I wouldn't say I'm the best mom, I'm just dash. Izuku. She interrupts me. She then asks, you literally placed first place on the sports festival, an event broadcasted to all of Japan, if not the whole world. They've all seen what you did there. I sigh, I only won because Kaken didn't take me seriously during our match. I didn't dash. Mom looks at me sternly, look at me Izuku. I do, and she says, you were amazing, you placed first in every event of the sports festival, even when things didn't go your way, you go yourself out and won anyway. Then when you fought Katsuki, you didn't take a single hit from him until the very end, which you blocked and absorbed. You knew how strong he was and gave it everything you had. Katsuki do that, he wasn't fully in the match, you were, if nothing else, that's where you surpass him. You never lose focus on the fight and give it everything you've got. I look at my food in thought, before mom puts her hand on mine. Pros. Hand, you did amazing out there, now the pros know just what you're capable of. She smiles. I smile back, thanks, mom. She nods and lets go of my hand, no problem sweetie. I go back to eating my food as I talk about the festival. I guess it's a bit surreal, I don't think it's really hit me yet to be honest. She looks at me as she raises an eyebrow, clearly. I continue, I just wish some of my other classmates could show off more of what they could do. Xiaoji was taken out so easily while Mina wasn't able to show off much of her capabilities, which sucks. Mom then taps her chin, yeah, I heard those names, I don't remember Xiaoji, but I think the pink one was Ashido. Her eyes then widened and looked at me. I stop midway from taking a bite of scrambled eggs and look at her, what? Her open mouth widens in a smile as she says, did you call her by her first name? My eyes widen as a blush creeps over my face. She gasps and says, oh my gosh, my son has a crush. I drop my utensils onto my plate, what? She then hugs me across the table, you have a crush. I struggle under her grip, mom, I'm still eating. She then hugs me tighter, you have a crush, you have a crush. I then yell, mom. She then lets me go, sorry. She sits back down, I've been waiting for this to happen. I take another bite of my food, and grumble. She adds, come on Izuku, what's she like? I swallow my eggs and sigh, she's fine I guess, a bit hyper. She leans forward, and I stutter, and what? She laughs, Izuku, there is no way that's all, you always analyze those around you in those records of yours, especially their quirks. I sigh, fair, but there's not a lot to tell. She smirks, well, what can you tell? I stare at her while she keeps her smirk, come on, tell your mother. I sigh, her name is Mina Ashido, her quirk is acid, she can release acid from the palms of her hands and the soles of her feet, and has full control over their acidic potency. She then asks, so, a first name basis huh? I blush and say meekly, she started it? Mom raises an eyebrow, started? I blush a little more before I say, I may have asked her to call me Izuku. She coos, ah, that's adorable.
I continue eating with a blush on my face. She asks, well, that's good and all, but what is she like? I stammer, she can be a bit fruity. Mom smirks, ugh, that's what hooked you, she's flirty isn't she? I sigh and slowly nod, yes she is. She adds, well, you must be alright with it if you've fallen for her. I blush, can we please move on to something else? She giggles, okay, sorry. You mentioned someone named Xiaoji, who are they dash? The doorbell rings and we both look to the door. Mom then stands up, I guess he's here. She walks to the door as I ask, who's here? She opens the door and there stands Uncle Zawa, long time no see Inko. She smiles, Shouta. It's been a while, how have you been? He shrugs, I've been alright, the kids' class is a handful though. She laughs, has he been any trouble? He replies, on occasion, but it's bearable. I stand up and yell, hey. They laugh a bit before Uncle Zawa looks at me, well, we better get going kid, you ready? I sigh, as ready as I can be. I stand up and grab my travel bag that's by the door, see you later mom. She waves me bye as we leave, be good for Shouta and the doctor. I wave back, I will. I get in Uncle Zawa's car, and we head out to Dr. Garen's office. I'm currently sitting in the passenger seat as Uncle Zawa drives us there. I ask, so, is she angry at me? He replies, don't know, she just told us to surprise you about the appointment, she did seem a little upset. I let out a shaky breath, I'm so screwed. He rolls his eyes, will you stop exaggerating, you'll be fine. I raise my voice, come on, you know why I'm worried. She gets really forceful when she's mad, remember the last time I pissed her off? He nods, yeah, and that was entirely your fault, you missed your appointment because you were falling behind in your studies. I try to argue, but dash. He interrupts, she just worries, she cares about you, we're all a part of support system for you. After all these years, we're here for you kid, remember that. I sigh, I know. Uncle Zawa then asks, did you at least tell her about your kinetic cannon? I look off to the side, I told her I got a new ability and that she should watch the festival if she wants to see it in action, other than that, she was as in the dark as you were. He nods, alright, well, she's not that upset with you, I think I heard some pride in her voice. I smile, alright, that makes me feel a little better. He then adds, besides, it's a little too late to back out now, we're here. I look up and see her work building, and I gulp down some anxiety, oh boy. We get out of the car and walk inside, report to the front desk for our appointment, then wait at some couches for her to come out and call us, but with all my anxiety over the situation, I shimmy and squirm in my seat. Uncle Zawa notices and asks, want a distraction? I nod, yes please. He chuckles a little, alright, have you been keeping up your training to improve your already existing abilities? I nod, yes, thought I need help improving the radar. It's hard to improve something so easily used, it's not like my other abilities, it's just too different, and you've become predictable after all these years. He raises an eyebrow so I add, no offense, it's just, we've been training just the two of us for so long that I can predict what you're going to do, even without the radar. Sure, we had help from the occasional pro other than you, but still, it's just not cutting it anymore. He nods, yeah, I get your meaning, how about this, you take the necessary break over the next 2 days, and I'll come up with something, sound good? I nod with a smile, yeah, sounds great. He makes a small smile, good, now what about that cannon move, how does that work? I smirk, oh it's great, I can charge it up naturally to power up an attack, a really powerful attack, and fire it off as pure energy. But in the instance of my fight with Kikin, I just absorbed the kinetic energy from his howitzer impact and charged it into my plasma cannon, but it was a little disproportionate, probably because there are differences in energy types. A door opens upstairs and out comes Dr. Shauna Garen, as he looks at me and frown, you're actually here, good. She waves us in, come on. I look at Uncle Zawa and he shrugs, we stand up and go upstairs then into her office, she closes the door and sits at her desk. She takes a deep breath and starts talking, what were you thinking, what were you thinking? Do you have any idea how dangerous that could have been, you've died, you could have killed the kid.
She turns to me, were you even thinking at all? Uncle Zawa holds his hands out, Shauna he dash. She turns to him, I don't want to hear it erasure. She turns back to me and glares, we're talking about a new ability that you did not check with me on first, this could have been disastrous. Not only could you have hurt yourself, but you've severely damaged that prosthetic, these things are one of a kind, if it's destroyed, all the progress that's stored within that thing is mute. I look down, I'm sorry. She keeps her glare for a few seconds before sighing and holding her face, no. I'm sorry, you just wanted to make a happy surprise, just, make sure you're careful with any new abilities you want to surprise me with, okay. I look up to her and nod, I will, I promise. She nods, good, now let's have that checkup, shall we? I groan as she grabs some cables and pulls up a laptop. I sit on a high stool and open up my kneecaps, elbow and upper back for her. She pugs in the cables and I try my best not to squirm as I let out a shuddering breath. She then looks at her laptop, reviewing the code in my prosthetics. Well, it seems the new code is in order, no abnormalities that I can see, so you're all good on that front. Uncle Zawa sighs in relief, thank God. She starts scrolling through it, now, let's see what that cannon holds. She smirks as she looks through it. I look around the room as I wait, then she reads out what she can, so, it seems your new ability, the cannon can charge up with plasma like you plasma guns, or absorb kinetic energy from your shield for concussive power, but in both cases the cannon can charge up to dash. She gasps and stands up. We all look at her as I ask, what's wrong? She stares at her laptop with wide eyes before looking at me, then back to her laptop. Uncle Zawa asks, Shauna what's wrong? She shakes her head to refocus before saying, no, nothing's wrong, it just surprised me. I tilt my head, what do you mean? She reads through the code again before saying, the power output that your cannon maxes at is nearly unmeasurable, the closest I can find as close to this is half of All Might's power. My eyes go wide as does Uncle Zawa as we both yell, what? Chapter 21, Hero Names and Agencies. Chapter Text. It's Friday, the 2 days after the first year's sports festival, and I'm headed back to school on SkyTrain, but while I was on it, some people started to recognize me. I'm currently looking over the footage from the sports festival as I look out the window, then someone taps my shoulder and says, hey, are you Izuku Midoriya? I pause the footage and look back, seeing a man in a business suit give me a smile, you were awesome. He gives me a smile, I was rooting for you, congratulations on winning the festival. Some people heard him and looked over, seeing that I was there and starting praising and congratulating me for winning. I'm so unused to people recognizing me, let alone praising me, that I was just staying quiet as they kept praising me. Then they all said at once, keep it up, hero. I chuckle nervously and reply, thanks. The train arrives at my stop, so I quickly leave and walk to UA. I'm walking along the UA wall as I hold an umbrella to protect myself from the rain, when I then hear Itza running behind me, so I look back and wave, hey Itza, how are you? Itza keeps running, fine, now what are you doing? We're late. I tilt my head in confusion as he passes me. I ask, what do you mean? School doesn't start for another 10 minutes. Itza replies, students should arrive 30 minutes before class. He dashes off a little faster, don't you think? I run after him, keeping pace as I'm using my back's thrusters for a little more speed, I guess. We get inside and put our stuff away into our lockers. I then turn to Itza and ask, hey Itza, how's your dash? Itza answers immediately, interrupting me, if it's about my brother you don't have to worry. He turns back to face me with a small smile, everything will be fine. He walks away while I watch him, shaking the water off my umbrella. I don't like how he said that. Time skip. The class has all arrived finally. While I'm resting my head on my desk, eventually Mina walks up and says, hey sleepyhead, wake up. I smile a little, I'm awake Mina, just resting my head. She smirks teasingly as she asks, did you not take a break like Izawa said, again? I press my mouth into a thin line and stay silent for a second or two, before answering, no. She chuckles and shakes her head, Izuku. I groan and lift my head up to look at her. I can't help it, I'm used to training, I've been doing it for 12 years straight. I raises her hands in front of her, I know, I'm just teasing you. I sigh, do you have to do DHA dash? Yes. She answers. Aizawa then walks into the classroom. Silence class. Everyone immediately goes to their seats and go quiet. He walks over to the front desk. Morning. He turns to face us as he says, now that you've all rested up from the festival, I have an important assignment for you all regarding hero informatics. The class mostly gets worried, except me and a few others. Then he says, it's time to pick your hero identities. The whole class starts cheering. Alright. Aizawa activates his quirk, and everyone shushes each other and quiet down. Aizawa continues, but I'm not going to be helping you with this, instead it will be Dash. The door to the classroom suddenly opens again and Midnight walks in. Yours truly. Most of the boy classmates blush at the sight of Midnight walking in. I don't, and I doubt Kaken. Midnight says, I will be monitoring your hero names. If anyone isn't careful, they could be stuck with something utterly indecent. Aizawa adds as he pulls up a sleeping bag, this field isn't exactly my forte. He then collapses and falls asleep. I sigh, of course. Midnight continues, now, I will be handing out whiteboards and markers, grab one of each and pass it along, then we'll work from there. Kaken eventually passes down a stack of whiteboards and markers, so I take one of each and pass it down to Mineta, a hero name, something that embodies what you are as a hero. I stare at the whiteboard as I try to think. I had so many names when I was younger, they never failed to put a smile on my mom's face. I look down at my right arm, but after everything that's happened to me, everything I've been through, what I've done, I can't use a name ripped off of him. I'm my own hero, so I'll use something that's me. Midnight then speaks up, now, who among you are ready to present? I tense up a bit, I did not know we were presenting these. I take a deep breath to calm myself down as Aoyama walk up to the front. He faces the class as he says, my hero name is. He raises the whiteboard over his head, showing everyone, I cannot stop twinkling. Midnight makes a small smile as she takes the whiteboard, it's good, but needs some work. She then starts editing it, so let's remove the I and shorten the cannot to can't dot. She then shows the name again. Can't stop twinkling. Aoyama snaps his fingers, perfect, magnific. I deadpan, how is that acceptable? Mina hops in her seat, me next, me next. She stands up and runs up to the front, showing her whiteboard, I'm the alien queen. Midnight looks a bit surprised, you mean the big bad alien that spits acid? I don't think so. She walks back to her seat, woof. She sits back in her seat with a huff, I look at her and she notices, I give her a thumbs up with a small smile, she smiles and nods, going back to her hero name in thought. I look back to my whiteboard, then get an idea, but before I start writing it down, Tsu raises her hand, Ms. Midnight, I think I'm ready to present mine. She motions to her, come on up. Tsu walks up and lays her whiteboard down, I've been thinking on this one for a while. She holds it up, I'm the rainy season hero, Froppy. Midnight praises her, wonderful, that's a good one. We all start cheering her hero name, Fro PPY, Fro PPY, Fro PPY. Midnight smiles and looks back to the class as Tsu walks back to her seat, alright, who's next? One by one people start announcing their hero names, I can't help but listen to people announce their hero names that I can't focus on mine, but on the 2 times that Kaken went up he seemed disheartened, like he's not really paying attention to what's happening. Nearly everyone's done when Midnight says, alright, there's still time for a few more, who else is left? We got Aitsa, Bakugo who needs to rethink his, and Midoriya. Are any of you ready? I finally finish it and I raise my hand, I am Midnight. She nods, alright, the floor's yours. I take a deep breath and walk up to the front, I've been thinking about my hero name for a while, a while, but I just couldn't stick to one I liked the most, but after everything that's happened to me to all of us, I think I found one that fits me the most, and one that I like the most. I then hold up my whiteboard for everyone to see, I'm the upgrade hero, Cyborg. Midnight smiles and squirms in place, oh yes, that turns me on. Pun intended. I chuckle nervously, thanks. Then walk back to my seat. I look over to Mina and sees she's giving me a thumbs up, as well as Xiaoji. Midnight then says, now, are either of you ready? Kaken looks away to the window while Aitsa looks down, nothing written on either of their boards. I sigh, this is going to be a long day. Midnight nods, alright then, I'll give you more time to think about it. Aizawa, we're done for the day. She walk out as he stands back up, already out of his sleeping bag. Aizawa starts speaking, good, now for the reason you need codenames. It's because you're all going to interning at a hero agency to get some much needed experience. My eyes widen, whoa, it's usually done by our second and third year. Why are we doing this early? He continues, that's what the sports festival was for, to have pros see your potential and send in requests to those they feel deserve it. He then presses a button on a remote and request results show up. The results showed that I got 5,629 offers, with Todoroki close behind with 4,621 offers, and Kaken behind him with 2,853 offers. Everyone else was way lower with the next highest only a few hundred. Jiro leaned back in her chair, whoa, Todoroki got more than Bakugo. Kirishima tilts his head, I thought Bakugo would have more offers. Mina then mutters, probably because he was such a jerk to Izuku. To which he flinches, I'm now really worried about him. Aizawa then speaks again, in past years the offers were more spread out, but this year there's a considerable gap. No matter if you got offers or not, you're all going to be interning. Everyone will be getting a list of different agencies, then you'll pick from their 3 and we'll sort out the rest. He places the papers on his desk, also, these are due next Monday. Kaminari exclaims, what? We only have 3 days to submit these. Aizawa starts walking away, so you should start now, good luck, and leaves the classroom. Everyone starts clumping up to their friend groups and chatted, some focused on their agency picks, while others did both. Mina then exclaims, "Ah, I can't decide." Leaning back as she ruffles her hair. I look up from my papers, "You don't know what agencies to pick?" She looks back to me, "No." I chuckle, "Well, you're good in acrobatics to be able to dodge and move around the way you do." She nods, "Okay, and?" I continue, "But you kind of lack in combat and strategic thinking. If you want to show off your strengths, it's best to try and cover your weaknesses." She raises an eyebrow, meaning. I conclude, "Try to find a hero who are known for their combat and strategy prowess, that way you can improve the most." She looks down, "Huh, I never thought about it that way, thanks Izuku." She smiles. I blush a little, then smile, "No problem." She starts looking through her options, then start writing down her choices, while I look through my offers. How am I going to pick which hero agency to go to? There's so many options. I then spot a hero offer I was not expecting. Wow. Mina looks up, "What's up?" I reply, "I got an offer from Mirko." She jumps out of her seat, "What?" Everyone looks over to us. Xiaoji walks up, "What's going on?" Before I can say anything, Mina answers him, "Izuku just got an offer from Mirko." As she points at me. I sigh as everyone runs over. Kirishima is smiling as he asks, "No way. For real?" Kaminari adds, "You're so lucky, man." Mineta yells out, "She never hands out offers, you're living in my fantasy." Tsu slaps Mineta before saying, "Yeah, you can't let her slip by, she seems like the perfect person to join in on, especially being in the top 10. Ajiro adds, raising a finger, "Yeah, number 5 no less." Everyone starts talking to each other, and me, about my offer from Mirko as I slowly shrink in my seat from all the attention. I then put her as my top pick before trying to pick 2 more. After a while, the other began to disperse as I worked. Finally selecting my 3 picks, I hand in my sheet and head home. I couldn't find Aitsa or Kaken, I hope they're okay. I then hear Mina's voice call out from behind me, "Izuku." I turn around and see her running to me, "Mina." She waves, "Wait for me." I stop and wait for her to catch up. She does and says, through panting breaths, "You, walk fast." I look at her, a little concerned, and say, "Are you okay?" She gives me a thumbs up as she puts a hand on her knee, "I'll be fine." I say, "Okay. What's up, why were you running after me?" She holds up a finger as she catches her breath. She then stands upright and says, "I wanted to go for a walk with you instead of straight home, if that's okay with you." She tilts her head with a soft smile. I blank for a second. Is she asking me on a date? I blush at the thought before shaking my head and smiling, "Sure, I'm always up for a walk." Her smile widens with energy, "Really?" I smirk, "What, expecting me to say no?" She rolls her eyes, "You're always training, I thought you'd be busy. She air quotes the last word. I blink. Do I really seem like that kind of person? I point to myself, a little worried. She giggles, maybe a little, but I get it, I can't blame you. I sigh in relief. I then say, so, let's walk. She pumps a fist, yes. Chapter 22, Getting to Know Each Other. I chuckle as we walk out of UA, walking around the city as we talked. We eventually wound up talking about my appointments for my prosthetics. She raises an eyebrow. I didn't know you needed to have appointments for your quirk. I shrug. Yeah, it can be very dangerous if I don't know everything that's going on with it, so my mom and uncle got me a doctor so they can be monitored at any point I need them, and during a bi-monthly visit. I visited her a few times for what's been happening to my quirk recently. She turns to me, oh yeah, what's that? I look down as I hold my right arm up. Well, recently the very code of their systems has changed into a very different language, giving me abilities I didn't have over the 12 years I've had them. She looks surprised. Wait, they're still changing? I nod. Yep, remember when I saved you from that zero-pointer, the blue and white flames leaving my thrusters which allowed me to pull it down? She nods and I continue, I couldn't do that before, I could only fly with an orange flame, but now, my systems work like gauges instead of flipping a switch, which is something I'm not completely used to. She tilts her head, flipping a switch. I nod, yeah, imagine your quirk, but instead of being able to not control your potency, it's just having a permanent setting of, let's say, hydrochloric acid. She looks down, huh, that would suck. I shrug, for you maybe, but I have a ton of other abilities, so that means I can manage without so much control, that's all. But enough about me, what did you do during the break? She shrugs, nothing really, I just played games, went shopping, danced in my room. I interrupt her, wait, you can dance? She nods, of course. She looks at me and smirks, how do you think I learned how to be so acrobatic? I stare at her for a second, before replying, that makes sense. I look away and scratch my cheek in nervousness, could you teach me? Her eyes widen, huh? You want me to teach you how to dance? I blush a little as I smile, yeah, why not? With how acrobatic you are, I bet you're a good dancer. She smiles, you think so? I look away a bit, well, I can't exactly be sure since I've never seen you dance. She laughs, yeah, I guess you're right. Let me think about it. Okay. She stops mid-sentence and stares at something. I look back to her, what? Mina, what's wrong? She runs ahead without answering me. I reach out, hey wait. And run after her. I finally catch up to her as she stopped and I ask, what happened? She keeps looking up, want to learn how to dance? I reply, a little yet. She smirks, well, she looks at me, I found the perfect place to start. I look up to what she was staring at before looking back to me, and see a sign for an arcade, an arcade. She nods, yep. These places usually have one of those really old dance machines, you know, the games where you stomp your feet and arrow to the beat of the music. I scratch the back of my head, to be fair Mina. I look back to her, I've never been to these places before. She gasps, well, I need to fix that A.S.A.P. She then grabs my hand and pulls me in. I stagger as I try to keep up with her, hey. She runs us up to the counter and says, hello, we'd like 10 tokens please. The man behind the counter nods, alright, that would be 50 yen. Mina rummages through her pockets and hands them to the man, to which he hands her the 10 tokens, have fun. She smiles, we will. She quickly runs off with her still holding my wrist, come on. I get pulled away, Mina. So, we did. Mina used up 5 tokens on the dance machine in the arcade, tiring me out a lot. I was not used to dancing, at all. After that though, we played some other games that were around, we won a few prizes but nothing big. Walking out of the arcade I stretch my arms into the sky, I did not know dancing was that hard, or tiring. She laughs as plays with her slinky toy she won, yeah, but you'll get used to it, I'll make sure of that. I sigh, oh joy. She giggles, hey, I don't have a lot of dancing buddies to hang out with, so finally having someone to teach the stuff to is big for me. I raise my hands up in defense, I got it, so, when should we really start? She smiles at me, you really want to keep going? I smile, yeah. It may have been exhausting, and I may not be used to it yet, but I'd like to keep trying. She grins sinisterly, okay, but just so you know, I'm going to put you through the ringer for this. I'm going to teach you so much that you'll be able to keep up with me. My smile falters into a shaky one, well, where do we start? She giggles, maybe tomorrow or something, it's been a long day. She looks up, seeing the sun meeting the horizon, the sun's about to set, we should go home. I nod, okay, I guess I'll see you tomorrow, where should we meet up? She looks down and cups her chin in thought, then she perks up and says, what about your place? I stop and blush, what? She turns back to me and repeats herself, your place, for dance training. I stutter, why my isn't yo can't we dash? Is my P place really a good idea? I don't have much room there. She shrugs, we can find something, message me your address when you get home and I'll message you when I'm heading over. She waves and runs off, bye. I wave back, still blushing a bit, bye. I watch her leave and head home, as I do the same. I sigh, I will have a lot of explaining to do tomorrow, for both of them. I get home and quickly message Mina my address and head over to my room and try to clean it up for when she comes by for the week. Time skip. The next day I wake up and go through my normal routine. I then check my room one last time to see if it's ready for Mina to come over, which it was. I walk out of my room and head to the living room, good morning. My mom looks over to me from the kitchen, good morning, how are you feeling? I smile, good, I kinda have a friend coming over today. She smiles, really? Who is it? I blush a little and answer, Mina is coming over for dash. She squeals, oh this is wonderful. Did you already move up in your relationship? I blush even more, what, no. She's just coming over to teach me dancing, that's all. She smirks, dancing, you wouldn't happen to be practicing for something, would you? I look at her a little confused, what are you talking Abu dash? Then it hits me, and my eyes go wide, no. No, that isn't it at all. We were just talking as we walked through the city when the topic came up, that's all. She sighs, oh well, when is she coming over? I shrug, I don't know, she said she'd message me when she was on her dash. My phone then buzzes in my pocket and take it out, seeing a message from Mina. I smile and pull it out, reading out, already, coming to you, see you in a bit. I reply with a message of my own, see you. I look at mom, she's on her way now. She smiles, okay then, where will you be practicing? I point behind me, I cleaned up my room so we can practice in there, that way we're not in the middle of the room when you're busy doing something. I then give her a deadpan look, and so you don't record us dancing and make a big thing out of it. She rolls her eyes, oh you're no fun, I made your breakfast by the way, it's on the table, eat quickly if you don't want to look unprepared for her. I walk over to the table and start eating my breakfast. After a few minutes of waiting the doorbell rings. I stand up from the couch, I got it? I walk over and open the door, seeing Mina with a smile on her face. I smile, Mina. My mom then immediately said, no funny business behind closed doors. I blush with wide eyes as Mina smirks with a small blush forming on her face. She replies, no promises. I yell, Mina. While my mom laughs, I groan as I step to the side, come in. She giggles and walks inside, sorry, I saw an opportunity. I sigh, and close the door. I then say to mom, we're going to be in my room, just knock if you need us, okay. She waves us off, I know, don't have too much fun. I groan and walk away with Mina. We reach my door and I reach to grab it until I hear her giggles. I turn back to her and raise an eyebrow, what? She smiles and points to my sign, you are one adorable hero nerd I look over and see my All Might door sign and blush, I forgot that was there. I cough to compose myself, yeah, it's worse in my room, and this is it toned down. I open my door to my room and step to the side. She walks in as she looks around my room, obviously enjoying the looks of it, probably to store for future embarrassment for a later. She then says, well, at least there's plenty of room to dance. I chuckle as I close the door, yeah, I kinda cleaned it up last night, made room. She looks back with a smirk on her face, that's so cute. I groan, Don't tease me, I did this so she doesn't make fun of me and take pictures without us knowing, or so we don't get in her way with whatever she may be doing. She shrugs, I guess, I can't fault you for that. She then drops her bag on my desk and pulls out a speaker from it and a phone from her pocket. She looks back to me and says, before we start dancing, we need to limber you up. I cock an eyebrow, what? She rolls her eyes, you need to warm up, consider dancing like working out, but instead of making your body stronger it's making it more flexible and have more endurance. I nod, okay. So, what warm-ups are we doing? She shrugs, well, anything that'll make you stretch your body really, like this. She then moved her feet to be shoulder length apart and slowly bent down till the tips of her fingers touched her toes, her knees not bending at all. I stared at her for a bit in surprise, she almost looks like she's bent in half. How did she dash? She tilts her head so she can see me, aren't you going to join me? I jump, oh, right. I moved my feet a little to mirror her, then slowly bent down, making sure I didn't bend my legs, ow. She giggles, yeah, it can hurt the first while, doing this one, just keep it up till you feel like you can't anymore then I'll stop. I got a little lower, but I couldn't reach my toes, but before I could say I can't, she says, don't push yourself, it's not a requirement to touch your toes, even though that's the name, this is just meant to make your legs warm up and ready. I let out a shaky breath, this hurts. But kept it going for a few more seconds, eventually I couldn't do it anymore and stood back up, ow. She giggles as she stood up, yeah I know, now for the lats. She then lifted both her arms up, gripped her left wrist with her right hand and leaned to the left, keeping her legs planted straight. I mirrored her and I felt a strong stretch in my right side, oh god. She rolls her eyes and shakes her head, have you never really worked out in your life? I replied, yes I have. I've just never done these ones before. She then did the other side as she gripped her right wrist, I mirrored her again and I stayed there, these really feel like they're helping. She smiles, they should, I'd be worried if they didn't. She then dropped her arms, so I did the same, she then crossed her right arm across her chest as she pressed it closer with her left arm flexing, stretching them both, I smirk, I know that one. I started stretching my arms. After that she lifted her left arm and she curled it over her head before holding her right cheek as she tilts her head to the left, this one should be pretty easy, helps the neck. I nod and mirror her, yeah, this is pretty easy. She then did the other way and I mirrored, eventually she dropped her arms, alright, that should be it for stretching. Let's get underway for dance training. She smirked. I gulped, oh boy. So, over the weekend she started teaching me to dance, and she was not kidding when she said she'd be hard on me. I wouldn't say I didn't like it though, I found it to be fun too, I even pitched that we did this every weekend, to which she said, why not every day after school? Which I declined, we still needed to study which she didn't like to hear. Monday is when our internships start, I just hope nothing goes wrong like the USJ. Chapter 23, Internships. Chapter Text. It's now Monday of the next week, and all of Class 1A is standing before Aizawa as he informs us of the rules. Alright class, today you head out to your respective agencies, you don't have permission to wear your costumes out in public so keep them in their cases. All of you be good. Mina jumps with joy, yeah. Aizawa corrects her, speak properly, it's yes sir Ashido. She slouches, yes sir. While everyone chuckles and giggles, me included. Aizawa then ends his speech, don't slack off anyway, see you all later. He turns to walk away, but not before flashing me a small quick smile. I smile back and take a deep breath, it all starts here, this is when it really begins. Mina tackles me with a hug, are you excited? But I keep us standing. I chuckle, yep, I don't need to ask you how you feel. She giggles, yeah. I'm so excited. I look off to the side and see Aitsa walking away with his stuff, but we still need to do something before heading out. She breaks the hug, She looks where I am and slouches a little, yeah, let's go. We walk over to Aitsa and call to him, Aitsa. He stops and turns to us, the glare of the lights hiding his eyes. Mina speaks first, Aitsa, are you okay? You've been really distant lately, it's not like you at all, please tell us what's wrong. I add, I know ingeniums hurt bad, but you can't just isolate yourself with that dancing around your head, we can talk, you can come to us if you're upset, we'll be there, we're friends aren't we? Itza looks up a little so we can see his eyes, yes. A chill runs down my spine as he walks away. Mina mutters under her breath, Itza. I take a deep breath, please don't be doing what I think you're doing. I turn to Mina, you be careful in your internship, okay? She faces me, you do the same. I nod, I promise. The speakers announce throughout the station, train 296, headed for ____________, please board now. I look over to the train that just arrived, I gotta go, good luck. Smile and leave. Hearing Mina yell out me, good luck to you too. I get into the train and take a seat, I really hope she doesn't beat the crap out of me. Time skip. I get off the train and take a look at the map at the station, okay, so her agency is, there. I point to the map at a building then walk out of the station. I follow the map I memorized as I think to myself, I sure hope I didn't pick the wrong agency, because this could either go really well, or really bad, I hope it's the former. I finally reach the agency, which looks like a normal house instead of a hero agency, I didn't expect this from the 5th ranking hero. I shake my head, I'm here, let's get this over with. I ring the doorbell and wait at the door. Nothing happens, huh? Where is she dash? Then the sector in front of me lights up in red, that's not good. It then starts to get brighter, oh no. I jump back just as Mirko crashes through the door with her rabbit foot slamming it into the cement floor, yeah. My eyes widen, oh god. The tall rabbit-eared and footed woman lets out a loud laugh, didn't expect you to dodge that. I look up to her, what? Why'd you kick so hard, look at the ground. She shrugs, I thought you'd block it, given how many times you did it back in the festival. She points at me. I retort, I can only block what I can see Mirko. She waves it off, ha, wimp. My eye twitches, am not. You could have killed me with that kick. She rolled her eyes, don't worry, you would have lived, let's go to the back and see what you can do. I sigh, okay. She smiles, great, follow me. She starts to walk away. I start following her, so, quick question, why is your house your agency? She replies, I don't share my job with others. I'm what's called a lone wolf, I guess. I deadpan with a small smirk, yeah sure rabbit. She looks to me with a wide grin, you got courage kid, calling me out like that, I respect it. I roll my eyes, but, if you like going alone, why'd you send me an offer? She smirks, because you piqued my interest, and not many do. I saw how you fought, you're a pretty good jack-of-all-trades fighter, but you're easy to predict. She stops walking as we're now outside and says, the only reason you were able to pull ahead of your peers is because you're fast, which is good, but what if you face someone like me? So, I'm going to teach you how to hide your intentions in a fight, once you pick it up, you'll pull way ahead of your peers. I nod, okay, but why are we sparring them? She replies, so I can see you in person, I'll get a better read on you that way. Her grin widens, put your costume on, then we'll spar. I flinch at the look she's giving me, oh no. I walk over to my case and open it up, putting on my hero costume, I turn back to Mirko, alright, ready to go. Her grin intensifies into a sinister one, good, let's dance Cyborg. She then runs towards me, I put up my shield to block her attack, she then jumps behind me, so I quickly turn with my thrusters in burnt orange, just as she throws a kick allowing me to block entirely, she then jumps off it and starts jumping all over the place. I try to keep up with her movements but she's just a blur to me, even my radar can't keep up, acting like it's flashing in all sectors, where is she dash? She then kicks my back and jumps away as I recoil from her attack, ack. I watch the blur that is Mirko from all around me, damn, how can I dash? She sweeps my legs and jumps away again, ugh. I slowly get up as I watch my radar spasm in lights, how is she dash? She then drops down with an axe kick, but I quickly react by crouching down and raising my shield over my head. She hits the shield and jumps away, not bad kid, but that won't work again. I then swap my shield to my other arm to ready for more attacks, but before I could even react, I suddenly slammed with 4 attacks from different angles. I stagger from the force before being hit with another barrage, while a few are absorbed into my shield, a little more, come on. She keeps hitting me with her intermittent barrages. My shield then flashes green, indicating it's filled, and I yell, "Now!" as I slam it into the ground, releasing a shockwave in all directions, sending me into the air. I then spot Mirko still in the air as well as she tries to regain her balance. I immediately grapple her and slam her into the ground with a counterclockwise spin. She coughs up some saliva from the impact. I immediately dive down with my thruster set to burn blue and start sparking up my rings as hard as I can. I can't keep this up for long, I have to end it with this. I yell out as I near her, sparked up crash. Her eyes widen as soon as I yell that out. I throw my fist forward just as she rolls out of the way, missing her as my fist slams into the ground. My eyes widen as it does. Just before she tackles me and pins me down, "You were close near the end, but not enough to win." She grins, "Sorry kid." I groan under her pin, "I thought I had you." She nods, "You did, but you were too slow with that last attack." She unpins me and stands up. That shield bash surprised me. It was pretty smart. You knew you couldn't hit me, so you went with an AoE, that's how you got me. I stand up and hold my throat, so I was lucky. She smirks, "Damn right you were. Don't expect it to happen again, don't repeat mistakes." I nod, "Noted." She then points to the house, "Go get changed out of your costume and settle in, tomorrow we have lots of training to do." I smile, "Okay." I grab my case and walk inside. This is going to be a long week. Time skip. "Wake up kid." Mirko yells from downstairs. I groan, "What time is it?" I grab my phone and check the time, it's 4 in the morning. I get up and change into new clothes. I leave my room, I can't believe she woke me up this early. I yawn and head downstairs. She sees me and smiles, "Good, time for training." I cock an eyebrow, "What, shouldn't we eat first?" She shakes her head, "Nope, train then eat, I believe in a good workout before eating." I frown, "As in E-. For every meal." She grins. I stare at her, "Oh boy." She then starts walking to the backyard, "Don't grab your suit, I want to see your hand-to-hand combat, without your quirk." I sigh, "This'll be hell." I nod, "Alright, let's train I guess." I walk after her. Sha crosses her arms, "Let's see what you can do." 3. I get into a battle stance as she keeps counting down, 2. I bend my knees and ready for what she might do, 1. I lean forward, ready to run at her, go. I sprint for her as she bends her knees and gets up a defensive stance. I throw a right hook, but she redirects it, sending me off balance and getting me to run past her. She smirks as she turns around, "Too slow." I run at her again, staying a little lower to the ground. She then bends her right leg so I lean in the same direction. She smirks as she throws a right kick my way, but I jump over it in a somersault and kick her across the face as I pass her. She pivots and throws a punch, but I use her move and redirect it past me, but instead of having her pass me, I spin over her using her own momentum, but it didn't fully work as I fumble my landing. I right myself quickly and turn around, "Bus, she's gone, where'd she dash?" She then tackles me from behind and pins me down again. I yell out, "Damn it." She laughs, "Your bad landing gave me an opening, too bad you're not the greatest fighter without your quirk." I huff, "Yeah, too bad." She unpins me and helps me up. I thank her, "Thanks." She crosses her arms, "You were good, you even managed to copy my parry move, nice. But you gave it too much flair, that's why you landed wrong." I sigh, "Yeah, I figured." She shrugs, chin up. "You managed to surprise me 2 days straight now, I think that's worthy of praise, which is why, after we're a little ways into your internship with me, you'll be coming with me to Hosu." My eyes widen as I look up to her, "What?" She smirks, "Yep, you've exceeded my expectations twice now, so now we're going to head to Hosu on Friday, and we'll be working together there for the rest of your internship, looking for the hero killer." I stare at her in pure shock. She's really willing to let me come with her to Hosu, to fight the hero killer. I shake my head, "Are you sure?" She nods, "Yep, which is why, during the 3 days we're here, I'm going to put you through the ringer until we go for the hero killer." I groan and hang my head, "Oh joy." She laughs and starts walking back inside, "Come on kid, let's get some grub." I watch her walk inside. "Hosuha, going after the hero killer?" I'll take him down for you Itza, I promise. I start walking inside after her. So, for 3 days I was trained like crazy, sparring with Mirko to take her down in a fight, chasing Mirko down to keep up with her, and being taught a few new techniques to fight tougher opponents. When it was all said and done, we packed up and took a train for Hosu, for the hero killer. Stain. Chapter 24, The Hero Killer. We're on our way to Hosu on Skytrain to find and take down the hero killer, Stain, but I had to ask, how do you know Stain's still in Hosu? Mirko replies, well, it's pretty simple kid, every time he terrorizes a city, he stays to take down at least 3 heroes, and so far, only 1 has been attacked. We also know he was the first because he was left alive to spread the word of his arrival, he only does that for his first victims within a city. I look out the window, wow, I didn't know that. She shrugs, the media doesn't like tell people that part, causes hysteria. I nod, I can understand that, last thing you want is people to know is that there's a killer in the city and he's yet to take down his target victims. She nods, yeah, so we know he's there, which means we can catch him. She smirks. I chuckle and look back to her, yeah, just remember we're a team, yeah. She looks at me, oh for sure, but that goes for you too, listen to me and only me, unless I say otherwise. I nod, yeah, you got it? I look out the window and sigh. She tilts her head, what's up with you, you've been down in the dumps ever since I told you that we were headed to Hosu for the hero killer. So, what's up? I cross my arms, just worried for a classmate who interned here, I'm worried about him. She pats my shoulder, don't worry, I'm sure your friend knows to not go after Stain alone, if he's anything like you. I reply, by any other time I would agree with you, but I don't think he's in his right mind right now. She cocks an eyebrow, why's that? I look back at her, because he's Ingenium's little brother. Her eyes widen, wait really? I nod, Tinya Itza, I heard from our teacher that he only applied for 1 place instead picking any back UPS in case his first one didn't work out, he only picked 1 agency from Hosu. Manuel's agency. I look down and closes her eyes, then says, okay, we need to find Stain more than ever if that's the dash. Her eyes shoot open and pulls me towards her, get down. Something then crashes through the train car and slams a pro into the floor. I look up and I see a bulked up, gray-skinned, wide-eyed, brain-exposed creature holding down a pro. My eyes go wide as I try to stand up, Nomua. It looks up and roars, grabbing my leg, oh she dash. And pulls me out. Mirko calls out, kid. And chases after me. I look over it and see its flapping wings, sorry, I don't like free rides. And grab one of its wings and pull, sending us down and crashing through the corner of a building before tumbling across the ground. I quickly stand up as it gets up as well, it roars and charges, I go to punch it, but Mirko axe kicks it down and kicks it away, no one touches my student. I call out, Mirko. She looks at me, go, I'll handle this thing, find your classmate, use your quirk if you have to. I try to interject but she stops me, go. I let out a sharp breath before running off, good luck Mirko. I'm running through the streets of Hosu as I try to find Itza, come on, where are you? An explosion erupts from the distance, and I stop, oh no. I shake my head, no, the pros can handle it, I need to find Itza. I fly up to a building's rooftop and start running again. I look down to the ground as I keep running, using my back thrusters at burn orange to run a little faster. Itza's after Stain, and Stain doesn't make a big scene like all the destruction those Nomus are causing, so Itza would run from it, towards smaller areas like back alleys or something. I jump over a roof and keep running, I have to hope on that and dash. I approach the end of another roof and spot Itza on the ground with Stain standing over him. My eyes go wide as I charge down with my thrusters and ready a punch. He looks up just as I make a right cross to his face, sending him back a few feet as I land and crater the ground a bit. I look up and warm up all my thrusters, leave him alone. Itza asks, Midoriya. Stain says, leave now, I have a job to do. I yell back, you're not touching them, you got that. I make a shield and equip it to my upper left arm, now my arms are safe. Stain stares me down, they aren't worthy of saving, leave now and you won't get hurt. I retort, I don't care if I get hurt. All my thrusters burn red, their lives matter more than your arrest, so leave now or get caught, those are my terms.
I stare him down. He does the same to me and doesn't move. I snarl, fine. I boost to burn orange and thruster charge to him, his eyes widen, and he swings his sword. I straighten and slightly boost my top back spines to get lower to the ground, dodging his attack, before I swing my right leg and sweep him off his feet. As he falls, I grab his leg and throw him into a wall with my thrusters. He coughs up saliva from the impact before I charge and thruster punch his gut, making him cough again. I then throw a thruster uppercut, but he leans out of the way and prepares to swing his sword again. I reverse my arm spine's direction and slap his sword out of his hand. I then grab it and jump back, lowering to burn red. Stain coughs as he says, "You're good kid, not what I was expecting." I reply, "Looks can be deceiving." I slowly walk to the left. He slowly walks the other way to keep his distance. "Do you even know how to use a sword?" I answer, "You'll find out soon enough." I stop in front of Itza. I need to be careful around him, he's fast, but I've fought faster. He stops directly ahead of me and grabs another sword. "Well, if you're so good with it, then let's test your skill." I narrow my eyes and bend my knees. "Here we go." I smirk under my helmet. "Test, huh? Let's see who gets tested." He then charges for me while I do the same. We both swing our swords at each other, but I notice he's also preparing a knife. Nope. He throws it as I jet above him, nicking his shoulder and jabbing the sword down. He jumps to the side to dodge, but I throw my grapple at him just as I land, which he also dodges. I then boost my soul thrusters to keep me hovering off the ground as I spin around, recoiling my hand and sword in the process. I then deactivate all my thrusters as I kick the sword out of my hand, spinning towards Stain. My hand clicks back into place as Stain's eyes widen form the sword. He jumps over it as a dodge, but I send my grapple at him again and grab his leg. I slam him into the ground and pull him in his stupor. But he refocuses and says, "Smart." I throw a left hook as he swings his sword, with a smile on his face. My arm then burns red and moves just enough so my shield blocks the sword. His eyes go wide and smile falter as I smile this time. I then say, "Not good enough." I then twist my arm to grab his arm as I let go of his leg. He growls, "Let go of me," and kicks my side. I grit my teeth as I grab his leg and throw him into a wall, upside down. I then spark up my left arm as it burns orange and I throw a thruster punch. I yell out, "Sparked up crash," and slam my fist into his face, just before he falls to the floor, unconscious. I toss his sword to the side. I'm not good with swords. I look over to Itza and the apparent pro that was also present. "You all okay?" The pro nods, "Yeah, I'm good." But Itza nods. I ask again, "Itza, you okay?" He nods slowly, "Yes." I nod, "Good. Can you all help me disarm him and tie him up?" The pro smiles, "Sure thing." While Itza nods. The three of us take Stain's weapons, including his hidden ones, and restrain him, and Itza did his best with his injured shoulder. I sigh in relief as I sit down next to a post. "Man, that was difficult." Native chuckles, "Sure, but you took him down. You're definitely pro material with skill like that." I shrug, "Sure, but if there were anyone else I had to deal with, I don't think I would be able to take them down." I put all of my focus on Stain. I didn't even try to check on your status. I had to keep my eyes on him at all times. If I had faltered for even a second, I would have lost. Native smirked, "Still, to take down Stain is dash." Mirko's voice suddenly rings out, "Kid." I look over, "Mirko." She reaches me, "Ah man, am I glad I found you. Are you okay? Not hurt? You look pretty roughed up." I smirk as I stand back up. "Well, I kinda beat you to it." I nod my head to the right. She cocks an eyebrow, "What do you mean by DHA dash?" She looks over and stops mid-sentence as she sees who I fought, her eyes widening. "Holy she, is that Stain?" I nod, "The one and only. I barely pulled it off, but I won in the end." She chuckles, "Man kid, you keep surprising me." I chuckle, "Thanks." She nods behind her, "By the way, I brought backup." I tilt my head, "Huh?" A bunch of other heroes show up, including Todoroki. I nod, "You weren't kidding." She looks back, "Alright slowpokes, get a transport ready and send those two to a hospital." She points to Itza and Native. I stretch as Todoroki approaches me, "Was this you?"
He points to Stain. I nod. How'd you guess? He points to Mirko. She was your internship. I let out a small laugh. Thanks. He watches me for a second. You should rest. I nod. Trust me, I plan to dash. I'm suddenly grabbed and pulled up into the sky. What the dash? Todoroki yells out, Midoriya. I grit my teeth as it carries me around my right side, where Stain had stabbed me with his kick. I then throw a burnt orange thruster punch to its face as I grabbed it right wing. I then pulled it to the side and jet dived down and slammed it to the ground. I bounce off it and land on my feet, but I immediately act and charge in, throwing a kick to its chin. I try to perform an axe kick but it moves out of the way and slaps me into a wall. Mirko yells out, Kid. I look up and see the Nomu about to attack again, but a knife strikes its brain and blood shoots out from it. Stain suddenly keeps me down as he grabs his knife and yanks out. He mutters, You must all be purged. I hear the pros talk about what he just did. Did he just save that kid? Another disagrees, he's a hostage, you idiot. Stain slowly gets up from his kneeling position. Mirko gets into a battle stance, get ready. And the others follow her. I then hear heavy footsteps as Endeavor says, What are you all standing around for? We should be dash, hang on. Stain looks back, Endeavor. His mask covering half his face starts to fall off. Endeavor ignites a fist and readies an attack, hero killer. Mirko stops him, wait Endeavor. He looks at her, huh. Stain starts to turn back to the pros, you. I look back to Stain just as his mask falls off, he growls out, false hero. My eyes go wide, oh my god. He slowly walks forward, glaring at the heroes with such intensity that they can't even move, his bloodlust so immense, that even Mirko was frozen in fear, like a deer caught in the headlights. He yells, You are no hero. Hero. I will reclaim that word. He stomps his foot, and his bloodlust intensifies, causing Mirko's ear to fall down in fear. Come on, take me on. Are you worthy like All Might? Endeavor takes a step back as Mirko keeps her feet planted in place. Even I felt my body being pressured to stay put. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears as my vision blurred and darkened, but I knew I couldn't stay still, so I gave it everything I had and moved. Level 1 reached. A vice like mine rang in my head. I started getting up as I watched Stain approach the pros. Well, fight me. Level 2 reached. I heard the voice again as I warmed up my thrusters. He glared the pros down as his bloodlust went to an all-time high. Move it, you fake. Level 3 reached. All my thrusters went to burn white as I instantly made it to Stain. All the pros saw me appear next to Stain with pure shock on all their faces. Even Stain didn't notice right away, but I saw as his eyelids very slowly rose a small amount as his eyes slowly glanced back to see me as I jumped up. I then yelled, Stay. Grabbing his head and reeling my arm back. I then shoved my arm forward as I slammed his face into the ground, down. As the ground craters from the force, I saw some rubble slowly rise from the ground before time seemed to speed up and it all fell. I was suddenly hit by a wave of intense exhaustion, and I stumbled back, panting heavily. I can barely catch my breath. Mirko then slowly walks towards me, her hands up to catch me. Kid. I look up to her. That's my limit. And everything fades to black hearing Mirko call out to me one more time. Chapter 25, Hospital. I slowly begin to wake up as I struggle to open my eyes. I quickly close them again from the bright lights above me before I try opening again. Getting used to the light, I notice my left arm is connected to an IV tube. I look around further. Where am I? I try to get up, but something stops, a weight on my chest. Huh. I look down and I see Mina of all people, laying her head on my chest, asleep. Mina? Am I at UA? I look around to confirm this, but the room doesn't look like Recovery Girl's office. No, this looks like an average hospital. I look back at Mina as she turns her head in her sleep, showing her eyes are a little puffy and red. I frown. Was she crying? I take a deep breath, then start to lightly shake Mina. Mina, wake up. She shifts in her sleep before opening her eyes. Izuku. I smile. Hey. Her eyes widen upon recognizing me and side up. I try to apologize. Sorry for Scar Dash. Then she hugs me. You're awake. It surprises me, but I can't complain, so I hug her back. Yeah, I am, but how long was I out? She breaks the hug and looks down. Days. My eyes widen and I shoot up.
days. Before I suddenly get lightheaded and groan, laying back down. She gets closer to me and puts a hand on my chest. Hey. You need to be careful, your body's still tired. I sigh, yeah, I got that. And chuckle. She frowns, I was really worried, everyone has heard of your fight with Stain, and how you took him down again when nobody else could stand up against him. I stay silent as she continues, starting to cry, then you collapsed and Mirko didn't even wait for transport and she brought you straight to a hospital. As soon as I heard I came running, I was so scared for you. Your mom came by too a few times, dropping me off here so I can see you. I look to the side, sorry I scared you, I just couldn't dash. She nods, I know, you needed to help, it's that reckless part of you that I love. My eyes widen and I look at her, smiling at me with care in her eyes, but you need to stop being so reckless when you try to help people. I stare at her, did she just say what I think she just said? She eventually looks away, a little disappointed. I smile, I love you too, you know. She perks up and looks back at me, Wadash. I sit up slowly and say it again, I love you, Mina. She stares at me as she asks, are you serious? I chuckle as I nod, yeah, I am. I look away, a little embarrassed as I scratch the back of my head. I have never been so focused on someone before now, you mean a lot to me. She smiles, and I continue, I just want you to be safe, like in the USJ, and after that happened, I wanted to train harder to ensure that. I guess, that's why I couldn't stop training, I just want to be able to protect you. She holds my hand, Izuku. I look at her and she continues, thank you, but you can't be so reckless just to keep me and others safe, you could have died with what you did, please don't do that for my sake, okay? I nod, okay, I promise. She smiles even softer as she tilts her head a little, good, now to ensure you're telling the truth. She holds my cheek and kisses me with closed eyes, my eyes go wide from the sudden action, but then I close my eyes and kiss her back. She breaks the kiss with a smile still on her face, yeah, you're telling the truth. I roll my eyes, you just had to do that didn't you? She giggles, yup, and you better get used to it, cause I'm not going to stop doing it. I chuckles, I think I can endure. She laughs and I join her, then the door suddenly opens, revealing Dr. Garen. Mina, you need to keep his down, I'm trying to focus. She then notices me sitting up, and more importantly, awake. I smile and wave, hello, Dr. Garen. She stares at me for a few seconds, before yelling, about damn time. And glares at me. I feel a chill run down my spine as Mina flinches, oh no. She stomps towards us, you're lucky you lived through that ordeal, or I would have killed you kid. I wince, I'm sorry Dr. Gare. She then rips out my fore and I let out a yelp in pain as Mina stares at the fore that was ripped out. Dr. Garen the roughly pugs into my prosthetics as she goes on a rant, you're an idiot in turning with Mirko, what were you thinking, she's a loose cannon, dangerous, reckless. I chuckle a little, I learned that first Hadash. She interrupts me, she wanted both of you to fight Stain, what kind of pro thinks that's a good idea? Mirko then walks into the room and glares at Dr. Garen, a good one Shauna. She turns back to Mirko, oh, don't start what makes a good hero Rumi. Mirko argues back as she puts a hand on her own chest, oh, I started. You're the one who put my decision making as a pro into question miss, I know everything. Dr. Garen retorts as she points at me, I'm trying to keep him safe. Mirko counters, I'm helping him stay alive. The two continue to argue as Mina and I watch. Mina then says, I think they know each other. I nod, yeah, I think so too. She asks, should we intervene? I answer, no, I know them both well enough that there's no point, unless you want to get pulled into the argument and make it worse. She replies, alright, but isn't she running a diagnostic on your quirk? I nod, yeah, but she can multitask. She nods with a hum, I then look down at myself, this might get them to stop arguing, and I think she deserves to know, I mean, we are dating now. I then look at Mina and say, by the way, they aren't my quirk, I'm actually quirkless. She looks back at me as the two arguing stop and freeze, wait what? I nod, yeah, they're actually prosthetics that act like quirks. She stares at me like I'm crazy, you're kidding R.I. Dr. Garen and Mirko then look at me and yell, why would you say that?
and Mina cover her ears as I wince from their volume. Dr. Garan then says, "Do you remember what I said you should do if you wanted to tell someone this?" I reply, "Yeah, but you were distracted having an argument with Mirko, and since you're here, you can explain the situation while the system does a check on my prosthetics." She sighs and facepalms, then says, "Ms. Ashido, please come with me." She motions to the door. Mina looks at me and I nod, so she walks away and Dr. Garan walks out, but not before shooting me a quick glare, and closes the door, with Mirko and I watching them leave and stay there in silence. I then ask, "You knew?" She nods. "Shauna told me after you accepted my offer. I'm her cousin, so she trusts me, even if she doesn't show it much." I chuckle, "Yeah, I know that last part. She has a weird way of showing trust, doesn't she?" She snickers, "Yeah, that she does." I then ask, "Why didn't you say anything?" She sighs, "Because you'd fall into a panic if someone you didn't know knew your secret, not to mention that you probably wouldn't trust me after that." We sit in silence for a minute or two before Mirko whips her head to me as she throws her arms into the air, yelling, "What were you thinking?" I look back, "Huh." She then goes on a rant, "You had already pushed yourself fighting Stain the first time, then fighting that Nomu again, then to top it all off, you pushed through the strain of Stain's fear force and took him down. Even without that new ability of yours, you could have been in serious condition, you could have died in here, kid." I look down, "I'm sorry." Mirko then takes a deep breath and sigh, "Just, don't push yourself so hard, okay?" I nod, "Okay." She smiles and nods, "Good." She pinches the bridge of her nose, "You gave me so many heart attacks hoping you'll pull through." She then smirks as she says, "But, you're a fighter, that's for sure. Not many can take down Stain, even Endeavor couldn't." I smile, "Yeah, that was pretty cool, I guess." She then says, "By the way, news about your fight with Stain was all over the place. You've been given lots of praise, including from Ingenium for getting him back for what he did, and saving his brother." I reply, "Really? But I'm not a pro, wasn't what I did illegal?" She shakes her head, "Nope, I gave you permission to use your quirk, remember, so technically, you were within the law to fight Stain. Thus, the praise you've been given." I look out the window, wow. She smirks, "Yeah, good work, kid, you earned it." I look back to her, "Thank you, Mirko." She crosses her arms, "Just call me Yosagi-yama, kid." I nod, "Thank you, Yosagi-yama." She nods and gives me a thumbs up, "No problem, kid." Dr. Garan then walks in with Mina, "All right, I checked you up, and you're all okay. I'll tell you the details of your new ability later, then you can give me a name, okay?" I nod, "Okay." She nods as she starts packing up, "I recommend you stay here for today, then we can get you out of here tomorrow, just to be safe." I smile, "Thank you, Dr. Garan." She nods and walks out, along with Mirko. Mina walks up and sits next to me, looking down in silence. I take a deep breath and look at her. I ask, "Hey Mina, she explained it to you?" She nods. I ask another, "All right, so I bet you have questions?" She nods. I pause for a second, but before I could ask another question, she asks, "Do you remember that accident?" I sigh, No, I don't." "Oh." She replied, before asking, "So, what was it like, being told what had happened to you?" I hold my right wrist, shattering, horrible, angry, terrifying, sad. I don't know anymore, so many thoughts were running through my head. Imagine being normal and whole 1 second, then waking up in a hospital with your whole body hurting and aching with metal all over you. She winces, "Yeah, I can't imagine." I nod, "Thankfully, that's also when I first met Uncle Zawa. He asked what I wanted to be when I grew up. I said I wanted to be a hero, so he promised to train me to get there, and he did." She smiles and looks up at me, "He sounds like a real good guy. It sucks the rest of us can't see that side of him though." I shrug, "He's complicated, he likes to look cool to other people, but if you get to know him long enough, you can see his soft sides." She giggles, "I bet. Your mom's going to get here soon. As I said before, she would drop me off. I messaged her you were awake when I was outside." I nod, "Okay, she must have been terrified." She frowns a little, "Yeah, you scared all of us, even Izawa showed up." I wince, "Oh, he's going to choke me with his scarf." She shrugs, Maybe, you did say he's gone soft for you. I deadpan, not that soft. We both laugh a bit before I say, I think we've talked enough about me, how about we talk about you, how was your internship? She groans, boring, so boring. I chuckle, care to elaborate? So Mina went on to talk about her internship, which was pretty boring compared to me. All she said she did was train with the pro there, sparred with a couple of sidekicks, go on patrol, and whenever there was a crime being committed, she would be told to stay back and watch. She was even criticized for her training regiment. While for me, I had trained with Mirko for 5 days, went to Hosug, fought Stain, and wound up in a hospital. Mina threw her arms up, I mean come on, I dance as a part of my training. It also helps with my stress, I wasn't fooling around. She was still upset over the pro for her dancing. I chuckle, some pros work differently than others, I guess next time you look for another agency, huh. She crosses her arms, no kidding, he was a jerk. I smile, oh come on, it was just 1 week, then we have school. She groans, no school. I roll my eyes, oh come on, it's not that BA-. The door swings open and my mom runs in, my baby. And she's here. I say, changing my sentence. Mina laughs, yeah, good luck. She kisses my cheek and walks out. I blush from her kissing me while I say, yeah. Mom watches her leave, so, you told her huh? I smile, actually, she confessed first. I chuckle. She turns back to me with a smile, I'm happy for you. I reply, thanks mom. Her smile slowly drains from her face into frown, which worries me, oh no. She then yells, what were you thinking fighting Stain? Hero killer. I hold up my hands in defense, I had no dash. She keeps yelling, you could have died? I can't lose you. I look down as she starts to tear up, you were so exhausted with that new move that it nearly, because you pushed yourself. Your body could barely keep up. I reply, I'm sorry mom, but I had to do something, my friend was hurt and, in his mercy, he could have died if I haven't done anything, and he was willing to kill the other pros who were unable to move because of sheer power, only I could, and I'd be damned if I let that happen. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Mom looks down, no, you couldn't have. But. I look at her and she continues, is being a hero that important? You can be something else that isn't so dangerous, like support, or a doctor. I reply again, I know mom, but it's a hero's job to go into danger, to go into a horrible situation and save lives, so no one else has to. And sure, other jobs save lives too, but I wouldn't be the best version of myself, I have to be a hero, it's what I'm meant for. My mom watches me in thought, before sighing and saying, alright, you've convinced me, but please, don't push yourself so hard, okay? I nod, okay, I promise. She nods, good, now get some rest, when you get home tomorrow, I expect you to tell me all about this new thing with you and Mina. She points at me, got that? I laugh nervously with a blush, why you got it mom? She smiles, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? I smile, okay, goodbye mom. She walks out the room, good night Izuku. And closes the door. I yawn, oh man, I really am tired, I think I will go to sleep. I lay back down and pull the blanket up. Let's hope I don't have a paparazzi waiting for me tomorrow. Chapter 26, The Truth. I make it to class the next day and open the door to the classroom, everyone sees me enter and yell, Midoriya. Which makes me jump, ah. They all run up to me, then Suro says, we all saw the news. Eureka says, you were everywhere. Kaminari asks, you okay? Hagakure joins in, it must have been terrifying. Mineta then shakingly points at me as he says, that must have been the most intense fight ever. I look between everyone that's standing in front of me, not knowing what to say, when Kirishima cuts in, getting between me and everyone, guys, back up, let him speak. They all look at Kirishima, then to me, who's sweating profusely and extremely nervous, they all back up and chuckle nervously, sorry. I pat Kirishima's shoulder, thank you Kirishima. He gives me a thumbs up and walks away. I look back to everyone who were crowding me and said, I'm okay, yes it was a tough fight, and I will never do something like that again. All Might then opens the door behind me, hello students. We all go to our seats and reply, "Hello All Might." All Might then explains the plan for today. For today's class, we'll be doing something new. He reveals our cases from the wall, put those on and meet me at field gamma. Then leaves the classroom. Time skip. All Might then explains the rules. Alright, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to head deep into this place. It's filled with factories to form an intricate labyrinth. Your job is to get to me as fast as you can. Whoever gets to me the fastest wins. Itza raises a hand. Sir, if this is rescue training, shouldn't we be at the USJ? All Might replies, the USJ is meant for emergency rescue, but like I said, this is a race. You will split into teams and each of you within said teams will race against each other to get to me first. Got it? We reply, yes sir. The first team called up, that being Mina, Ajiro, Itza, Siro, and myself. We all get split up far away from each other, but of equal distance to All Might's location. I stretch as I think of a way to get to All Might. Okay, think this through. You can't take a straight shot to All Might with Burn White, you'll just overheat and fall, and grapple is too slow for someone like Siro. My best bet is to use Jet Ricochet, it'll keep my speed up, and I won't have to use too high a burn, I have to use it. I start to hear the countdown, so I get ready, stay focused, and strong, then you'll win. An alarm blares and I blast off with Brawn Blue, cooling to burn orange after ricocheting off a wall. Show off what you can do. I start to speed up after every bounce off a wall, going faster and faster. I see Siro in the distance and I smirk. I've built up enough speed to say hi. I then slam myself into a wall and constrict myself, then launch myself with a temporary boost with Burn Blue and zoom right past him. I turn around in the air and say, "Hi Siro." Giving him a salute before grappling the corner of a building and jetting off, bouncing off the walls of the buildings again. I smirk under my helmet, this is working out better than expected. I then grapple an opposing corner from a building and swing around a dead end, using my thrusters to speed up. No, remember what Yosaji Yama said, just stay focused, and you're golden. A foot lands on a corner of a building and I launch off it to ricochet off through a large alley before jetting out. Watch your footing, your breathing, and your speed, and when you've got it, I reach All Might and I slam the retrieve button. I slide around it and pose with my left foot on the railing. You've won. Time skip. All Might places a sash on me. Good work young Midoriya, you have won the exercise. I take a deep breath. Thank you All Might. He nods. Good work to all of you dash. Izuku. Mina cheers, that was amazing. How did you do that? You were zipping all over the place, you were nuts. Siro wraps an arm around my shoulders. Yeah man, I hate to admit it, but I think you just outranked this whole class with that move man. It was amazing. Ajiro gives me a thumbs up. I chuckle, thanks guys, I trained really hard with Mirko to pull that off. I rub the back of my head, it took forever to finally pull it off. Mina shrugs, well, however long it took, I'd say it paid off. She smiles. I smile back, thanks Mina. All Might clears his throat, I believe we should make way for the next team, don't you? I turn to him, right, sorry. We all begin to leave, but All Might calls me, Midoriya, after school come meet me in the teacher's lounge, I have something I need to tell you. I face him, okay All Might, I'll see you then. Time skip. School's over and now I'm packing up my stuff before I see All Might, but as I do, Mina shows up, hey Izuku. I look at her, hey Mina, what's up? She sits on my desk, just wanted to say hi. I cock an eyebrow, not buying it, she adds, and to ask what All Might wanted with you. I nod with a small smile, thought so, and I'm not sure, he didn't tell me, but if he wants to meet with me outside of class, then I bet it's important. She nods, I guess, though I can't really think of why he wanted to see you specifically. She looks up as she taps her chin. I sweat a little before I say, well, I kinda met him a year ago, I was starting to give up on myself at the time, so I told him my quirk and asked if I could be a hero with something like it. Mina's eyes widened a bit, oh? Well, what did he say? I smiles, he said that I could, and that I shouldn't listen to anyone else on what my quirk is, only what I make of it, barely quoting a phrase he said in one of his interviews. She giggles, lucky. I smirk, you don't know the half of it. I then sling my backpack on my shoulder, Anyways, I got to go dash. Freak show. I turn and look at Kaken, who's glaring at me. He speaks up, "You've really started pissing me off. First you're a defenseless weakling in middle school, then you start showing off like you're better than all of us, looking down on me, getting an offer from Mirko, then you fight Stain, the hero killer." I watch him as he continues, "I don't know how you started doing this, but just know that I'll take you down, I'll show you I'm better than you. I'll kill you." He then walks out of the classroom in a huff. I watch him leave, at least he's back to how he used to be. I look at Mina, "I got to go, see you tomorrow." I smile and leave for the teacher's lounge. As I'm walking through the halls, I start to think on what he would want to talk to me about. We haven't spoken since the sports festival. Is it about that? Was it the canon? Is there something about it that's bothering him? Did he accidentally leak info about my prosthetics and came to tell me? I shake my head. No, he isn't that dumb. He knows how to keep a secret. He's the #1 hero. I can trust him, but why would he want to talk to me? I finally arrive at the lounge, and I open the door. "All Might? I'm here." He looks up from the table. "Ah, young Midoriya, you came." I nod. "Of course, you did ask for me." I smirk. "Or did you already forget?" He rolls his eyes and motion to the chair in front of him. "You sound like him sometimes, you know that?" I shrug. "It's part of my charm." He shakes his head. "I wouldn't call what that man has taught you as charming." I narrow my eyes. "Hey, I do have a girlfriend now." He looks up at me, a little surprised. "You do? I didn't think you and young Ashido would start so soon." I blush. "How did you know I was talking about Mina?" He looks at me and cocks an eyebrow. I look away. "You know what? Never mind." He takes a deep breath. "Now, on to why I called you here. Remember a little under a year ago Izawa told you about my injury?" He places a hand on it. I wince at the memory. "Yeah, I remember." He elaborates. "Well, I'm here to tell you about the person who caused it." I tilt my head, and he says, "His name is All for One." I lean back a bit. "All for One? Where have I heard that name before?" He looks into his mug. "You've probably heard it from small conspiracy sites, but this AFO is very real, and the one of the strongest quirk users there are." My eyes widen in shock. "What, even you?" He sighs. "We were evenly matched, unfortunately. He's lived for years and years, gaining followers, gaining quirks, and growing in power over the decades, maybe the century." I hold up a hand. "Wait, gaining quirks? What do you mean by that?" All Might looks up to me. "AFO had the ability to steal quirks." I freeze. "What?" All Might explains. "Not only that, but he could also give some of those quirks to others so he could spread his influence. But, on occasion, there would be a few poor souls who couldn't bear the burden of the quirks they were given. They became like mindless living dolls incapable of speech, just like the Nomus are." I gasp. "Oh my god." All Might continued. "Along the way, he stole a quirk that allowed him to slow or even halt his aging, making him seem pretty much immortal." I look down. "To live for so long. I can't believe it." He kept going. "Believe it, he was real. Many people tried fighting him, they all failed. Except me, I fought him and won. I defeated AFO, he could no longer cause any more harm. At least, that's what I thought, but I was wrong. He survived, and is the brains behind the League of Villains." I sit there, silent, as I process all that I've been told. All Might couldn't take down a villain? A quirk that steals quirks? I can't believe it. All Might takes a deep breath, which is why I've chosen a successor. With how I am now, there's no way I can defeat him. They'll take my place and do what I could not, and that is to stop AFO. I look up to All Might. "You've chosen a successor? Who it?" He puts his mug down, now empty, and says, "Before I tell you, you must also know another secret I've been keeping hidden from you, and you can't tell anyone about this, understand?" I nod. "I understand." He nods back. "Good. This secret is equally shocking, so listen close. My quirk is similar in magnitude to AFO's, including one of its many abilities. But the one everyone is aware of is the power I utilize. It's the result of a stockpiling ability that was granted to someone a long time ago, someone who had the ability to pass on his quirk to someone else, which was given to me." My eyes go wide. "What? He nods, yes, this power is passed on from generation to generation, each time it's passed on to someone else it gets stronger. This quirk goes by the name of One for All. I repeat the names, One for All and All for One, that's not confusing at all. All Might finishes his speech, and now I have passed it along to someone else. He's a third year here at UA, he's a part of the Big Three, his name is. The door to the lounge opens and I turn to see a rather tall man with blue eyes and blonde hair waiting at the door. My eyes widen at the sight. I know him. I stand up. All Might then says his name, Mirio Togata. Togata smiles, hey there. All Might has told me a lot about you. He shakes my hand, it's a pleasure to meet you. I look at our hands then back to him, yeah, likewise. But I take my hand free as I look at All Might. Why are you telling me all this? He explains, because I've found it's useful to have someone as a friend to know of the secret, and I trust you to help when need be. I nod, I won't let you down. He smirks, good, because from now on, you'll be joining in on his brutal training. I exclaim, wait what? All Might explains, it'll help improve your abilities, and you may gain some new ones training with a new opponent. And yes, I talked with Izawa and Dr. Garen, and they allowed me to fill him on your prosthetics. Togata nods, yep, and I promise Midoriya, I won't tell a soul. He bows, you have my word. I smile, well, that's good enough for me, and besides, if you're trusting me with your secret, I know I can trust you with mine. He smiles as he stands upright, alright. After that, I went home and rested up for the day. This will be one hell of a year. Alright, that's where we'll leave off for the day. Thanks so much for listening along with me today. This is dubbed Season 1 by the author, so once more is available, I'll release more of the series. If you enjoyed the series as much as I did, please like and comment down below. It really helps the channel get seen. I look forward to seeing you next time. Ciao for now, lovelies.